What's up, tired and time-strapped dads? Listen, are you tired of feeling like there's never enough time in the day to prioritize your fitness and your health? Well, look, today we're going to dive in, introducing how fathers fit fitness in their daily schedules, the ultimate guide to turning your hectic dad life into a well-oiled fitness machine. G-Money, you ready to do this?
Let's do it! Hey guys, and welcome back to the Fit Fat Dad Podcast, where our mission is to help others grow in their faith, family, and fitness. So we've got something special for all you busy dads out there. I know personally as a dad, and I know you too, Blair, how challenging it is to find time for your fitness. But you need to quit making excuses, because it's possible. You can do it. So today we're going to talk about how dads or fathers can fit fitness into their daily schedules. And before we get started and give you tips, we've got a very special guest. If you listen to season 1, there's a very popular episode, My Friend Cauliflower Ear.
4'11".
The guy who choked me out in my backyard, who is a certified strength and conditioning coach. And he's going to be here today to help and chime in on some of these tips. He's one of the smartest guys I know when it comes to fitness, the mad scientist. So you want to just give the audience a little bit of credibility of our good friend Matt Wheeler here.
Yeah.
Introduce him for us.
So I met Matt Wheeler about 7.5 years ago. He started as a coach in my gyms and quickly worked up the ranks. And just to his credibility, I think it was the second day on the job of training. I watched him coach one class, and then I said, "Hey man, you got this. Go do it." And he's run with it from there. He's my director of operations now. Great dad, great father. Got an awesome kid named Rylan, and just an all-around good dude. And one of the things that, besides 15 years experience in coaching, is he is a student of fitness and exercise. And when you said a mad scientist, the guy comes up with some crazy workouts, and he fits it in. But one of the things he doesn't let happen is work and everything else get in the way of his fitness. Like, he is getting his workout in every single day in some form or fashion. And knowing Matt for as long as I have, that's the one thing that I look up to about Matt is nothing is going to get in the way of his fitness.
All right, Matt. So we're going to go right into this, and we're going to talk about the 5 tips that I think are the most helpful for dads that if you're currently not fitting in fitness in your routine or you're struggling. So let's go ahead and jump right in. And Matt, I'm going to kick it up to you. So number 1, it seems common sense that number 1, prioritize and plan. If you don't plan for it, you're not going to have it. So Matt, you work with countless athletes every day. Talk about, and especially as a dad, how do you, from scratch, start to prioritize and plan to fit a workout into your daily routine?
Well, I think it comes down to the individual and the individual schedule, what strengths and weaknesses are in with that. But I think kind of towing the line between being stubborn to the fact, like, let's take an afternoon athlete, and 4:45 is their time in the afternoon. You know, there's a line between being stubborn to that time, and I'm going to prioritize my week around that, but also being flexible where if you do get something, because, you know, as a dad, you know, you have kids, things come up sudden, you know, your kid gets sick, you know, your wife gets busy and you have to spend time. Things can get in the way. Life will throw you curveballs. So kind of being able to keep your shoulder into the curveball and being flexible to roll with the punches, so to speak. And being willing to come to a later class. If you have enough heads up to know that 4:45 that day is not going to work, you know, do we take a rest day? Do we take it off, or do we get up uncomfortably early and come train before work that day? Because the most important thing is getting it in.
Yeah. So I got a question for you. You have figured out how to make fitness a family fun routine, and your wife is, quite frankly, almost in the gym as much as you are, and I think that's because you've inspired her. Same with the kids. So one of the things that we talk about on this is you got to bring the key stakeholders in to get buy-in, right? Because, I mean, you've got to say, hey, look, this is what I'm putting in my schedule. I'm protecting it. But if you don't have buy-in, it's just going to cause strain and you're probably going to abandon it. So talk to us some tips on there. How did you get family buy-in? And then what would you tell your athletes?
Well, Amber and I started just having fun. And we did, workouts. We lived together up in Connecticut, and you'd snow up there, and you'd be snowed in for 2 weeks, and eventually get bored of playing video games. So just start having fun, playing around, non-structured workouts even, and I think I've said it at least once, but just fun. Almost treating it more as play than as a structured, formal workout experience, if that makes any sense, and just make it enjoyable, because if something's enjoyable, you're going to come back to it. If it feels like just another thing, if it feels like mowing the lawn and you don't enjoy mowing the lawn, like it's just gonna be another chore,
Yeah.
So I like that, making it fun. And I was just thinking about, I'm trying to teach my son to ride a bike right now, and basically I was doing wind sprints the other day. You know what I mean? I really was. So, you're chasing him down, and then he hits the brakes and you stop. And then, you got to turn the bike around, and then you're running, holding on to the bike. So, that's a workout, right? And that's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Playing with your kid, getting out, rolling around the ground. I mean, any type of physical movement, just other than sitting on a freaking couch.
Yeah, and quite another reason why, as a dad, you've got to be in shape.
You got to be in shape.
That's a very powerful moment.
Absolutely.
And it requires. So, Matt, you speaking of fun. So one of the things that I've struggled with, and Blair, I don't know if you struggle with this. It's just my mindset of everything I have to do it at the hardest level, where I've got to do a hard workout. I've got to feel like my muscles have burned, or I'm like dying on the floor to have a successful workout. But I feel like a lot of men think that way, and they may get one or two of those workouts in and then abandon it because it's like, no, that's just way too hard. I don't enjoy this. But you mentioned have fun with it. If you don't have fun with it, you don't do that. So talk about some ways that you incorporate fun into your workouts. And I've also heard the science out there, and maybe you know it, that if you schedule multiple shorter workouts throughout the day, let's call it 10 to 15 minute workouts, and you do 3 of those a day, that it's also effective as if you were going to do a 45-minute workout. So talk us through some of that, and then some of the science behind how you would schedule some of that in.
Sure. Well, I'll start. I believe, and man, this is going off memory, and I'm just going to apologize if I get this wrong. I know for a fact his first name is Corey. I think his last name is Schlesinger or something. I'm probably butchering it. But he is an NBA strength and conditioning coach. I believe it was for the Suns. Again, this is going off memory from way back. Jacked guy, bald head with a red beard. So if you ever see a guy like that on Instagram, that's him.
That's that guy.
But he had a principle that he used with his athletes called microdosing, and they would microdose their workouts. So they would get the same amount of work in, if not actually a little bit more, as if they were doing one long, like 60 to 90 minute session. But he found that his players were able to recover a little bit better, where they'd go into the gym, do 15, 20 minutes, and then they'd get out. And then they'd come back in a little bit later in the day, do 15, 20 minutes, and then get out. And then maybe do one more of those. But they would do small workouts throughout the day, mm-hmm. as opposed to one giant one. So, there is something to that. But in terms of going hard every single workout, but then you come into the weight room and you treat every single day like it's game day, do or die. If you're not bleeding out an ear and throwing up at the end, then are you even training? That's a very quick way to run into the ground. That might work for a little while, and especially if you're a heck of an athlete, that can work for a while. But eventually that leads to injury and burnout and a lot of different things. If you can vary that intensity and pick one, maybe two real hard, like for Iron Tribe, our Fridays is our game days. Friday, 4:45, the Madison location. We get 18 to 20 people on the floor, and people are absolutely getting after it. That is our athletes' game day, so to speak. And the rest of the week, you're certainly training hard, but you're varying the intensity throughout the week and really, really putting that max effort forth about one maybe 2 times a week.
That's good. So let me ask this question. Last point on this. So if I'm prioritizing and planning out a week, and so how many days per week would you, starting out, recommend that I need to be lifting weights, that I need to fit in cardio, that I need to walk? Like, how would you recommend laying out very quickly a week's worth of getting after it, but not something that I would quickly abandon?
Sure. The answer is, in most things in fitness, is it depends. It depends. Am I working with a firefighter that's working 12 to 24-hour shifts? Am I working with a nurse that's got 2 days on, 1 day off? Or am I working with like a 9 to 5 dad that has, every morning and every afternoon? What's our stress level like? Am I working with a tax, someone that does tax work during tax season? Or am I working, with somebody that has significantly lower stress? So that's the precursor to all this. But if you can fit in 2 to 3 day on average, and this is very much generalities, if you can focus and get in 2 to 4 weight training sessions a week, cut it in the middle, let's just say 3, that's a really good place to start. And then if you can mix in a little bit of like lower intensity, maybe like aerobic work on the off days, some stretching, some mobility work. I'm guilty of not stretching enough too, but just some low level activity. That's a real good way. That's a real good way to kind of fit something in and vary the intensities throughout the week. But if you can get into the gym anywhere from 2 to 4 times, say 3 times, that's a good rule of thumb. One thing that is easier, momentum is easier to keep going than discipline is to start. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
like it's taxing to use discipline. It's easy to keep momentum.
Yeah.
So, and I don't mind sharing. I've got 5 priority things that I try and hit on a daily basis, and I'm far from perfect. But it's, in my mind, it goes God's word, family time, continuing education, workout, and martial arts. What that means is I'm going to spend time in God's word every single day. I'm going to try and have a conversation with the Lord. And that's priority, and that's something I don't miss. 2, family time, try and show my family that I love them every day, try and do something for my family, spend quality time with them. Continuing education, that's something that's big. I laughed on the intro, talking about mad scientist. I just got another conditioning book. It just came in the mail yesterday. Joel Jameson's Ultimate MMA Conditioning. I'm very, very excited. But continuing education, my truck is a rolling podcast. I listen to podcasts all day. But in there is working out, doing something physically active every single day. Sometimes that's going for a walk. Sometimes that's recovery. Sometimes that's hitting the gym. But if you can even just carve out just a couple of minutes every day to do some push-ups, sit-ups, and air squats, and then get into the gym the next day, it's doing something, and that's keeping momentum going as opposed to trying to start it from a dead stop all over again.
Wise advice.
I love it.
So, Blair, you want to keep us moving here? Go to number 2?
Yeah. So, hey, Matt, this is pretty pertinent to a recent change in your training schedule. I know you're doing early morning, and I may butcher it. Is it jiu-jitsu or boxing, or what are you doing at like 6 a.m. 3 days a week now?
Oh, every day.
Or every day. Sorry.
It's remember that 5th one? I stopped at fitness, but the 5th one's martial arts.
Okay.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing are my two loves outside of the gym and the other gym. But just due to recent schedule fluctuations, my ideal time to train is around 11 or 12. Like, I'm awake. I've had plenty of caffeine by then. I've been moving. I'm old and stiff now. It takes me a while to get moving, get lubricated, and get ready to go. And quite frankly, the last thing that I'd like to be doing at 6 o'clock in the morning is rolling around on the floor with another grown adult, with them trying to bend my arms the wrong way and choke me. And that's just not my idea of a good time at 6 a.m.
Yeah, but
however,
yeah. Go ahead.
However, the choice was very simple. It was well, you can guarantee yourself some training time, because nobody wants to meet about gyms at 6 a.m. Like that's a very free time. The rest of the day is up for grabs. So it's either train then or take the risk of not training.
Yep.
And that's just a non-negotiable. So it made it for a very easy choice. I'd now wake up and go roll around the floor with sweaty men at 6 a.m.
So what you're saying is you made the decision in looking just at your work schedule and your family schedule and all the other pieces of the puzzle for the day. 6 a.m. you're prioritizing that to say, I've got to get my workout in this morning at X time to make sure that it happens and that the unpredictability of the day doesn't interfere with that.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's, that alarm goes off at 4:49 in the morning. A lot of people get into trouble because they have a conversation and they have to make the decision to go. Like, there's no just don't have a conversation about it with yourself. That's where the discipline aspect comes in.
Yeah. Well, so let's combine them here. So number 2 is morning workouts, right? So scheduling in the morning. Number 3 would be make the use of your lunch break. But I feel like, so let's have a good conversation here. You're either one or the other. And I would love, absolutely, there's nothing more than to be a morning workout person, because I feel tremendous after getting a morning workout in, and it amplifies the rest of my day.
Yeah.
But to Matt's point, things hurt now. And when I get out of the bed, the last thing that I want to do is go pick up a barbell or do lunges or squats.
Yeah.
But I would love to be a morning workout person. But I'm like Matt, I'm a lunch break person, because everything's geared up. But Blair, talk us through, because again, you see athletes every day, and I know you have fans. Like the 5 a.m., the 5:45 a.m. workout classes are just packed to the brim.
Yep.
So talk about like the benefits of working out in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think nothing gets in the way. I mean, for most people's careers and jobs, nobody's getting emails or phone calls at 5 a.m. in the morning. Exactly what you said. I think it sets the tone for the day. There is, and Matt, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think there's some science out there that says that does give you more energy throughout the day by knocking it out and getting the body up and rolling. So that's the biggest thing. But beyond that, I think it's just our 5 a.m. 5:45s. They have made the decision to. Life is not going to get in the way, and I'm making it happen because it's one of our most consistent time slots of the day, and that's because that's the only times that they can get it in based on what's going on around them. Right? And I agree with you. If I could get up and move like that, I'm up that early, but my body does not like to move that early.
Yeah. And I love the fact that if you are getting your workout at the end of in the first thing in the morning, like that's the first thing on your mind, and you can always get up earlier. Yeah. So depending, I mean, I know there's some schedules that prevent that, but for the most people that work a 8 to 5, 9 to 5, you can get up earlier. Yep. And I know there's things to work out, but if you get that thing in at the beginning of the day, there's no, I'm going to miss it. Like that's the problem with me getting into the lunch break workout. And Matt, you can speak to this, but if I don't hit my lunch break workout, it's done, because come 5 o'clock, I'm not, again, my body is like, nope, we're tired. We're not going to get it done. And then kids get in the way, and then outside commitments get in the way. And I say in the way in terms of your attention is now focused. You can't do that.
Right.
But so Matt, why do you like the lunch break workout?
Well, like I said, I'm old and stiff now, and so it gives me multiple hours to get up and get lubricated. Plenty of caffeine. The good thing, and it's something that I've experienced in action, is there's this beautiful thing called the law of accommodation, or the law of adaptation. And basically that says that anything that you present to your body, you will adapt to it. And it won't be overnight. It won't be immediate. It won't necessarily even be easy, but it's the same thing that you're doing when you get up and you go train. You're constantly pushing the weights and making your body adapt to that new stimulus, right? Grows muscle, gets stronger, whatever. Same thing with the ability to get up and train. Over a period of months, it does get easier. Not the first 5 minutes are always awful. As soon as the alarm goes off, it's never, for me anyway, it's never fun. But I've noticed that over the months of getting up and getting used to moving that early, it gets a lot better. And I feel like that translates over to our morning athletes where, yes, at first when you are getting up and you're popping and you're creaking and every joint in your body hurts and you're like, lunges, not now. Scaling, easing your way into it, but allowing your body the opportunity to adapt to that stimulus of training and being active early. They call it a law for a reason. It will happen. Your body will adapt to it.
Yeah. So Blair, let me ask you a question here. How long should a workout be, like, to be effective and do everything that you need to be? Because initially when I come to my mind, it's like, hey, morning you may have more time, but it could be that you don't, and you got to take in travel time to get to the gym, shower off, get back to the gym, and people would be like, man, I've really only got an hour. So to be effective, like, how long does a workout really need to be?
I think it's depending on intensity level.
Okay. Well, explain that a little bit.
I mean, I can put you through a 5-minute workout and you feel like you worked out for an hour. You know what I mean? So I like to use rate of perceived exertion, RPE, right? So something is better than nothing.
Yes.
Right? So I think there's some, and Matt, again, mad scientist that is way smarter than both of us combined. You can speak to this. But I think just getting heart rate up, getting good. I mean, if all you have is 5 to 10 minutes, then get a 5 to 10 minute workout in. You know, that's better than nothing.
Yep.
Right? If you have that hour, spend the hour in there, but that hour does not have to be, you know, full intense. I mean, that includes warm up, cool down, things like that. And I've seen Matt work out where he has 15 different variables going on and he doesn't stop moving. I think when I was training for an Ironman and I was spending time in a big box gym on a treadmill and things like that, I would watch people work out and they would be in there for the length of time that I was on that treadmill and barely broke a sweat, and I would say barely got anything done because they were chatting, they were on their phones, they were thinking, like, be intentional with your workouts and you can get a good workout in 5 to 10 minutes, right? Matt, do you agree with that?
100%, especially with something that's better than nothing. And if you can get something going every day, again, it feeds back into that momentum, just keeps the ball rolling, keeps the habit. Yeah, absolutely.
So Matt, let me ask you this. If I've got to eliminate something from my originally planned workout, like within the warm-up, the strength portion, the cardio portion, the recovery portion, whichever, which would you eliminate and which one would you prioritize?
Well, I would always prioritize the warm-up because at the end of the day, if you get into the gym and you might have the best workout in the world, but if you tweak your shoulder, tweak your back or something because you weren't properly warmed up, then ultimately you did more harm than good. So get the warm up in regardless. And then just a general workout is structured so as the most important things in that training session are usually listed at first. So the way I like to train, if it's a weight training day, it's either going to focus on building speed and power or building strength. And so, you know, after you get through your warm up, you know, your part A, so to speak, is either going to be power and speed development or strength development. And so that's the focus of that workout. So, you know, it would make sense if I'm limited on time, hit the warm up, hit the part A, and then if I have to cut the accessory work short, then that's fine. Lower the volume there because the accessory work is just designed to complement whatever the part A is.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's good. I think most people skip the warm up, Blair, if they're short on time. And then they pop a hammy and it's good.
Yeah.
All right, so keep us moving.
All right, I love this one. And we saw this one a big time about 3 years ago when the world shut down.
You couldn't get it, though.
Invest in home equipment.
Yes.
Okay, could not get anything. I mean, everywhere was sold out. Even Amazon was sold out. Couldn't get anything, right? Now, the funny thing is, what happened 3 years later? All of that stuff is for sale.
Half off, yes.
But no, I think, you know, if you don't have the capacity to go, you know, to a gym or have a trainer, make the investment, and it could be as, you know, maybe financially. We don't have the investment to make all of the dumbbells in this, you know, $15,000 at home gym. Get you some resistance bands. You can pick them up off Amazon for $20.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing, right? Hey, you know what you could also do? You could also get outside and pick up rocks, you know, cinder blocks. I mean, you can have some sort of resistance training at home. But that's the big... Go ahead.
Let me just jump in real quick because it happened yesterday. We've got some athletes that are getting ready for a competition. Part of their competition is they need sandbags. So, you know, we built out a 50-pound sandbag. It's a $22 canvas bag, a couple bucks for some contractor liners, a couple bucks for some zip ties and duct tape, and then $10 worth of sand. And you've got a sandbag that you can take anywhere, you can do anything with. And so that's just a real easy example. Total cost, like you're looking at under $50. and it functions as a great beanbag chair or doorstop when you're not using it. So
So Matt, I'm glad you went there. I'm actually really bougie, and I went with the Go Ruck version of this, which is like indestructible, like 10 layers of canvas on canvas on canvas. But I bought the sandbag medicine ball, the actual sandbag, and then the sandbag kettlebell, and those are my favorite workout tools out of everything.
Yeah,
because you can throw them down, you don't have to worry about breaking anything, they're quiet, you're not going to smash your hand, but they're so versatile. You can do cleans, you can do lunges, you can do squats, you can do rucks, you can do everything. Right? And when you're short on time, you can get a killer workout in those sandbags. So Matt, talk us through like some of the things that you're having your athletes do with these sandbags.
Well, so we've got that 50-pound one, right? That's what they need for their comp. And then we call it a baby bear, a mama bear, and a papa bear sandbag. So I've got 3. We've got 100, 125, and 150-pound sandbag.
Ooh.
You can guess which one is which. But a heck of a workout is to take those heavier to the 125, the 150. I just ordered another one, so it's a fillable one. It's 155 up to 220. That's gonna last me a long time. But just something as simple as picking up the heavier sandbag from the ground to your shoulder, 30, 40, 50 times and run it as an EMOM. You can get a couple reps every minute on the minute and get a heck of a full body workout in about like 10 minutes, not even. Like I was sweating after 5.
Are you doing that with the 225 pounds?
No.
Right there, the listeners were like, I think we're about to bet. No.
Yeah.
No. It's not the range. I'll be closer to that. Like if I can get that thing filled, it's 155 to 220. If I can get that thing up to like 175 and I can throw that, I'll be extremely happy with that. I'll be tickled. And that's the grow into it sandbag,
Yeah.
Or if I get somebody like you or Blair or Joel to come out, in Madison, then you guys can use that one if you want.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway here is just find something. If you can't get to a gym, there's ways around everything, and you can bring it into your house and make it convenient. But the biggest thing is there's no excuse, right?
Blair, top 2 at-home fitness pieces of equipment you have in your gym in your home gym that you would go to. What are your top 2 go-tos?
Kettlebell, because it's versatile.
Yep.
Maybe a jump rope.
Okay.
That's kind of my 2. Yeah.
Matt, what is your 2?
Man, I'd honestly go with bands, and I'd probably agree with Blair on a kettlebell, because with those 2, you can get an awful lot of stuff done.
Yeah. Kettlebell and then the sandbag for me.
Yeah.
But I like all of those. The resistant bands that's a
fun one.
They don't seem like they would do a lot, but you work with somebody like Matt Wheeler and he'll torture you.
Yeah, that's right.
Torture you.
That's right.
With those. All right. So let's bring us home. So one of the things that we talked about, so we've talked about investing in home gym equipment, but another thing that you can fit as fathers, fitness into your routine, is working out with your kids. Mm-hmm. And this is very enjoyable. I don't do it enough, but you can find a way to, you see it all the time, do a workout, have your kids join you. But so it's a really great, do you do this at all, Blair?
Mine are 5 and 3, so we're not quite.
You're not quite ready. You're just chasing them.
Yeah. That's their workout, is they're chasing them. So I don't think the concept of working out for them is there yet. Now I will say this though, but we do play. We play hide and seek from our dog, so we run around the house. You know what I mean?
That's
so
good
and it's fun. It's fun for them, and they understand it. But as you get older, to me, I think as dads, we have to be the leaders of our household, and I think God says that, right? And I think fitness is one of the things that a lot of dads don't lead on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would challenge dads to be the leader there, because your kids are looking up to you. And guess what? If you're sitting on the couch eating Cheetos, guess what they're going to do? They're going to sit on the couch and eat Cheetos.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, right?
Good stuff.
Yeah. So be the leader, and it doesn't have to be structured. Hey, get outside and roll around. Hey, guy, make it fun. Hey, Adler, put your chest on the ground and stand up. Put your chest on the ground and stand up. How many times can you do that? Make it fun.
Yeah.
How many reps can you do in a minute?
Yeah.
And guess what? They're doing a burpee.
Yeah.
And so, but get the kids involved, and that's going to make it fun. And it's also going to set the precedent of, hey, being physically fit and active is important, and it should be a priority in their lives as they grow up.
Yeah. What about you, Matt?
Well, part of the reason my 8-year-old walks into the gym every day like he thinks he owns the place is because since 4 or 5, one of my lifting days used to be Sundays, which was when the gym was closed. So he had come up to me. We'd go to church in the morning, and then after church, we jokingly call it the Church of Gains. And so which ironically enough, that location we moved is now a church.
Really
funny how that works. But so we would go in there, and part of our routine is we'd go in there and I'd work out, structured. I kind of have an idea what I'm doing. But he'd play, and I keep coming back to this idea of play because I think it's so important. But he'd pick up boxes and like just hop back and forth. He'd take the little lacrosse balls, bounce it against the wall, and go chasing after it. He'd try and like ride the assault bike pedals, but his feet couldn't reach the pedals, so it'd be kind of like push. But he would just have fun and he would play. And then we'd go to Costco, and I was back, pre-COVID when they'd give you the samples. So we'd run around and pig out on samples. But that was just a routine that we did for years. And then even now when he walks into the gym, he's very comfortable. He's very at home there. And it's a good environment. When he gets older and actually starts going to gyms to weight train, he probably will never be intimidated or feel out of place. It'll be a comfortable environment for him. And we've got a garage gym. We talked about a simple one. I've got a leg press machine and a reverse hyper in mind, so I kind of went overboard on the home gym thing. But we'd go out there, we'd work out, and he'd play. He'd play with like the little 2-pound kettlebell that we got him. The play dumbbells and stuff like that. And every walk we take, we play tag and we run. And if you think about it, he's getting change of direction. He's getting sprint work. He's getting jumping. He's getting all sorts of just good physical quality training. But he has no idea that he's training. Yeah,
there was a lot of wisdom in what you just said there,
yes.
and a light bulb went off to me. I think so think about fathers right now. If you said a gym is an uncomfortable environment or unfamiliar place, and I think that's why a lot of dads are, let's just call it scared to go in a gym because they're not familiar with how to do certain exercises. They'll look like they don't know what they're doing, and there's a bunch of meatheads in there, and it's uncomfortable. But to Matt's point, having Rylan in the gym, even if he's playing, even while you're getting your workout, that's a comfortable environment. So he's passing it on generational, and now that will be instilled in Rylan and his kids. Even if it's not like, hey, I'm going to plan a workout for me and my kid, which is not always accommodating. Let's face it. You need a break from your children.
Right.
And working out's a way to escape there. But passing that down from generation to generation as a healthy habit, as something that's comfortable, that's just so wise. I really think that's a great thing. So we're going to wrap up here. Go ahead, Matt. Any closing?
Before we do, can I share a funny story about Rylan?
Let's go for it. All
right. So this is how you know you're raising them in a gym right. So we're at a local establishment that it's got a brewery on one side and like some of the best cheeseburgers in Madison. I probably can name it. It's Old Black Bear. I love that place. and so we're sitting outside on the deck. It's a beautiful summer afternoon, and we're hanging out, eating burgers and whatnot. And their pretzels are amazing. I'm sounding like a real fat guy here, but we were just having fun. And he looks over, and his eyes light up. He gets so excited. He's like, Dad, they've got workout equipment here. I'm like, what on earth is he talking about? And I look around, and there's a giant pile of kegs. And I love the fact that my child associates, he sees kegs, and he's like, strong man, they do keg carries. And he's I'm like, well, that'll change here in a couple of years, and he'll get excited for different reasons. But for now, just the fact that he sees a keg and is just like weight training.
I love it.
I'm like, all right, we're doing something right.
I love it. That is good. Well, Matt, thanks for your time today, man. The wisdom is always appreciated.
Absolutely.
I know we're going to help a lot of people out there today. Blair, you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, biggest thing today, I hope dads out there, your takeaway is, make it fun. It doesn't have to be long, but prioritize it, whether it's morning, lunch, and be the leader of your family in the fitness side, and set yourself up and your kids up for success in the future. So that's my big takeaway, and it doesn't have to be hard.
Keep it simple.
Just keep it simple and have fun. But thanks for being with us today. Make sure like this video, subscribe. We got some a lot more fun content coming out. And G Money,
appreciate you guys. We're out.